Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. We are going to continue with mindset this month, like Mindset March. And here's my latest injury from having a puppy. Tripped over a bunch of dogs on Friday, and I think I got like a bruised bone or something like that. So I'm like, oh man, I just felt like keep getting injured because I keep tripping over my puppy. So anyway, today I wanted to talk about, does your brain complain? So we have like thousands of thoughts that go through our mind every day. And when we are focused on the negative, that is what we create in our life. I remember I guess it was like pre-COVID, I had done a retreat, and when I came home, there were like all of these like dishes and all this stuff in like the sink, and I just started to get like totally in my brain. I totally started to complain, and I was just like, everybody thinks that I'm going to be doing all this all the time and blah, blah, blah. And, I was making up stories, like negative stories about my family, and because there were dishes in the sink, and I caught myself, and I was like, oh my God, like this is what I'm putting out into the universe. And so I decided to turn it around and start being grateful for the things that I was complaining about. So because I couldn't just leave the dishes there because I'm human. As I started to clean the dishes, I started to turn all of those negative thoughts around into things that I was grateful for. So I was grateful that I had a family that has food on the table that they could eat, that we have plates that we could eat off of, that we have running water that we could do the dishes, and I could do the dishes with. And so as I started to be grateful for what I was complaining about, all of that frustration, all of that anger, all of that negative storytelling changed, and it totally transformed into something that I was like, oh, look at that. Like, look at all the things that I have to be thankful for from this one experience of complaining. And so, and I believe I talked about this last week, but when you think about what you're thinking about, or you notice what you're thinking about, and if it's all negative stuff, like that is what you are going to be manifesting in your life. Whether it's all men are jerks or nobody cleans up after themselves, like that is all you're going to focus on, because what you focus on increases. And so when it comes to manifesting, and it's just like manifesting has such a like woo-woo connotation to it, and I even hate using the term woo-woo, because it's just like, no, this is the laws of the universe, this is spirituality. And so, but manifesting is really just, what are you creating in your life? Okay, if you take that kind of spiritual manifesting energy out of it, what are you creating in your life based on your thoughts? Because manifesting or creating, very simple, is your thoughts backed by the feelings behind those thoughts create your life experience, okay? It creates your behaviors. So when I am doing hypnotherapy and hypnosis with my clients, what happens is we take oftentimes, and even just earlier today, I had a client who her conclusion, her thought that was running through her mind was, I'm careless, and created a whole life of being a perfectionist, and everything had to be perfect. She was A+ in everything, And so, but now it's no longer working for her, right? And so think about the stories, the beliefs that are playing as like the tape recorder or record player or motherboard in your mind of, like that inner critic. Like, who is that critic? Because it's not you. It doesn't just come out of nowhere. It comes from early childhood experiences, right? And so if you're constantly believing negative thoughts about yourself or with other people or whatever, or always focusing on the negative, that is what your life is going to become, okay? All of those self-limiting thoughts do not serve us. And so it's about going back. Hi, Gaga. Hi, Ruth. It's about going back and healing that inner child, because those beliefs come from an experience. And so it's about going back, exploring. It's almost like a soul exploration, right? Or like a, I don't know, memory exploration. And so you're going back on this journey, finding out where that messaging came from, healing that aspect of yourself, and then creating a new healthy belief and a behavior that piggybacks off of that new belief, right? So like maybe it's I'm carefree, or, I'm safe around certain people, or whatever it is. But the key is to basically turn down the volume on those self-limiting thoughts, heal where it's coming from, and then creating a new positive belief and depositing it into like that motherboard of your computers. So, think about like, how would your life be different if you just even took out the negative component of whatever that belief is that's running in the back of your brain, okay? And, going back to what I started with, like, how would your life be different if you started to be grateful for the experiences that you have instead of complaining about it? Like, okay, so I don't think I told you this, guys, but like 3 weeks ago, I took my little new puppy for a walk. I tripped over him. I landed on my bad shoulder. I had surgery on it 10 years ago. And I was like, oh my God. So I've been going to PT and I've been going to acupuncture for my shoulder. And then the other night, I tripped over a pile of dogs, but I was holding a German sausage, because for those of you that are in Seattle, I was in Leavenworth, and so they have all the German stuff, right? So I had the sausage in my right hand, and as I tripped, and when I tripped, I kind of did this, right? And so this whole part is really not okay right now. But I even was, at first I was like, I can't believe I just effing did that. And then as I was like, and I was like, I'm going to take my own advice. Like, why did this happen for me? What is the lesson that I need to get out of this? And, and so I was like, okay, I have to, be more aware, be more mindful, like slow down, rest, take care of myself. But what started to happen is like, I went, you know what? Like, I started to be grateful that, one, I was holding my German sausage in my right hand so I didn't land on my bad shoulder again. So I was like, okay, that's a thing to be thankful for. And the second thing to be thankful for, because we were at like for those of you not from here, it is this little German Bavarian village. It's like a tourist town. And so we were getting like beers and brats, right? The other thing I was thankful for was that I didn't have a glass of beer in my hand, because if I would have landed, it would have been a whole different scenario. And so this is what I'm talking about. It's like, start to be thankful and start to look for those little nuggets of wisdom that will glean from every experience, whether it's a big traumatic experience or a smaller one, like tripping over a pile of dogs and being grateful you didn't have beer in your hand, because it would have been a hell of a lot worse, because I had like my veins were like kind of bulging because it was like such a bad whatever it is. And I was like, well, thank God there wasn't any glass involved, because that could have been a whole different scenario 2 hours outside of, like, I mean, far from any major city. So anyway, I am thankful that this was all I got from that fall. So here's a little, like, homework assignment for you, and I would love to see if you do it, and if you do, like, I would love to hear about it. But on one side of the page, write everything, like, write down those self-limiting thoughts, right? Or everything that you want to complain about. Write it down on one side of the page. On the other side of the page, flip it around. How can you flip it around? Either it's like, if I'm not worthy or if I'm not lovable, it's seriously just as simple as I am lovable, right? Just because you're just trying to reframe and redo, like, recircuit some brain crevices. Highly clinical terms I'm using right now. You know, the real key is, like, doing that deeper work on yourself and that subconscious, because then it'll really clear out that root of where it starts from. And then on the flip side, write down all the things that you're grateful for. What is the learning in this experience? Or what, you know, how would your life be different if you started to be grateful for these things that you're complaining about? And then, you know, and then take the positive side, write them on, like, a little post-it note or index card or whatever, and keep those positive ones with you, so you could read them all the time and they could kind of seep into your subconscious on, like, a lighter level. As for the negative stuff, just fucking burn it. Like, I don't know, burn it, throw it out, like, release it, you know, because those were once survival mechanisms to help you through your childhood that no longer serve you. So that is what I wanted to share with you today. Hi, Kristen. You'll have to watch replay, and then you're going to have to hashtag replay. So, like always, I'd love to hear where you're coming from, where you live, what part of the world you're at, and if you're watching live, hashtag live. If you have any questions, drop them below. I'm happy to talk with you about it. And if you're watching it on replay, hashtag replay, so that more people in the group get to see it, and it gets pushed up to the top for the algorithm. And that is all, my friends. I will see you on the flip side. Mwah!